song. You're the wave I was made for. Take me back to where we once began. Ocean father, I was wrong. Years I followed just the sun. Now I see your darkness holds the key. I close my eyes and I begin to see. When we're alone.
guys, welcome back. My name is Urosh. Today I don't have my camera and I don't have my microphone, so I hope you can hear me. Next video will be better quality because I forgot everything. But yeah, I hope you like the remake. It took me quite some time. Everything is made in Serum, right? So it doesn't like sound exactly like Ben Bohmer because he uses Diva and stuff, right? But still, I think it's something we can all learn from. At least I learned something from it. I want to share what I learned, right? So I wrote down stuff. So okay, number one thing, right? The most important instrument probably in this track is the ARP sound, right? So let's take a look at the ARP sound first. So we have like this one ARP to rule them all, right? And basically what's happening in the ARP, you have this motif, da 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 da, right, which goes up. If you can take a look at it, it just goes up, right? So it goes like this, da 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 da, right? 4 notes. But what is happening is like the velocities are all different. So every hit is going to be a bit different, right? But in terms of like the melodies and stuff, it follows the chord progression, right? So let's just take a look at the chords first. This whole song is made in D major scale, right? So we only have 2 sharps, which are F sharp and C sharp, right? These 2 notes, right? And the whole scale is D major, right? But the first chord we are using in this track is not D major, it's not the root chord of the scale, but it's actually the 4th chord of the scale, which is G major, right? So this chord, we're going from this chord down to our root note chord, which is D major, right? So that's the whole progression. Everything revolves around these 2 chords, right? So in the beginning, our ARP is following the G major chord, right? And then it kind of follows the D major chord, right? At least if you think about it. And there are always 4 notes, right? So let's listen to it, but you can see it's G, D, G, D, all the notes from G major, and here's D, D, A, and D again, which are all the notes from D major, right? Which is our 2nd chord. Then we only have the G's. We only have the G's, and then we're back to D major, right? So, and then it just kind of repeats, right? The whole thing that is happening also, there's a lot of LFO going on. There's like 2 LFOs. So the first LFO is controlling the envelope 2 decay, and the second LFO is controlling the envelope attack. Other than that, we also are modulating the filter cutoff, and I think there's something also that we're doing, but I'm not really sure. But that's with all these LFOs and all this kind of stuff that it's moving, then you get like this swooshy, sweepy kind of ARP sound that it's not like right? If I would just like duplicate this one, right, and just show you the difference, let me just delete all the LFOs, even delete the cutoff, so we have the full cutoff. Let's say like this. Like the velocity is kind of modulating a bit, right? But it sounds really boring, right? I mean boring. It sounds like right? Like somebody is like just throwing the hammer or some shit. But when you add like all those LFOs and stuff, you get like so many variations, you know? So it's the same ARP, the same notes, right? But it's way more interesting, right? So that's I would say number 1 Ben Bohmer tip. When you have a melody, when you have an ARP, whatever you have, spend more time on it. Spend more time on it. It's not just good like to draw a couple notes and yeah, that's it, right? But you have to spend more time. Like if it's the most important element of the track, like in this case, you know, you gotta spend like at least maybe a couple of hours, because I remade this, right? I remade this so it was easier for me, I guess, than for him, where he had to like come up with the whole idea. All right. Okay. So that was tip number 1. Let's go to tip number 2. Okay, so tip number 2 from Ben Bohmer Fighter Ocean Remake, which I think is the make variations, aka breaks, make breaks, right? And make variations, even if they're really small, make them, right? They're gonna benefit the whole track. We can see in the arrangement we have quite a lot of breaks. We have break here before the actual break. We have break here, 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 and here, and as well here, right? So a lot of breaks. Also, one break I would like to point out is the break in the bass line, right? So every time this break kind of happens, you can see I marked it in green as a pause, right? And that pause actually brings you more excitement, right? Because every time there is silence in music, next time you hear a sound, it's going to be more impactful, right? So in this case, the bass, just look at the bass. Let's hear it. And also here is the break, right? I hope you can just focus on the bass itself and just listen to that. Like that break in the bass gives you more punch in the next section, right? So keep an eye on those. Also here, before we actually leave the ARP, he didn't play it like throughout the end, right? He just left this bar, right? So it's just like... And also don't forget about this break here, which is like the main break before the vocals actually start. And the vocals are a bit quiet, you know, low quality, but whatever. So that's thing number 2, right? Variation and breaks. Also, one thing about variation I want to point out is this monoplugs, right? And I made them into different colors so you can actually see the variations, right? So this is the first variation. Let's just listen to the sound. Wait. So together with the kick and the bass. But when we have this pink one, right, the difference between the red one, like da 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 da, da and the pink one, is this one actually starts like this part here, da 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 da, da starts before, right? Starts sooner, starts here basically, right? So that's a really small variation if you think about it, but it creates, you know, like, let's just listen to it. These two parts. Right, that's a small variation, right? But it's really cool. Also in this part, we have nothing here. Then we have this variation, then we have this variation, and then we just have one note, right? So this is a small variation, but it adds up, right? If you think about it, when you like do it a lot of times, it adds up, right? Okay, so that was tip number 2. Let's go to tip number 3 now. Okay, so this is like maybe his thing, I'm not sure, but I heard this in 2 remakes, which I did now. The first one was Erase Me, which you can find on my channel, which was from his previous album. And this one, in this Father Ocean, we have these pads, right? And I think about these pads almost like if you would bow a string, right? So they have like this attack up and then down. And it's like sweeping in and out, like waves, right? Like waves or something, right? And I think where I did that, maybe it's this pad. Yeah. So what I did is basically, you can do this like automated or whatever you want to do it, but it's the same thing. You can see like this kind of wave pattern, right? And I modulated the cutoff, but it's like, if you listen to the track and if you listen to the Erase Me as well, you have this like crescendo up and then down, right? Obviously this cutoff is rising, so it's gonna be more prominent. Right, so that would be my tip number 3 to make your instruments kind of swell in and out, and pads swell in and out. They're not like just always like, you know, you have a pad, you have like a chord or something, or you have a couple of chords, and then it's just like the same volume all the time, right? I don't think that works in his kind of style. So you have to like modulate stuff or make it like the sweeping in and out vibes. Check out Erase Me as well for reference. But yeah, I think those are all the 3 tips I would say. Yeah, if you have any questions regarding this remake, just let me know in the comments. We can go quickly throughout all the sounds. We have the atmosphere here playing a chord, right? Then we have this perc zap, which I think I also transposed it, like you can hear the pitches changing. Then we have this zappy stuff, which I made actually in Serum, and it's really weird because it's actually just like a filter sound. It's actually, this is like -4, right? So it's really weird, but we only have like this filter sound, right? If I would put like this 2 up, like we would get a sound, right? But we don't want that, so let's just leave it there. -4 together with this. Right, and we get something similar to that Ben Bohmer style, right? Okay, then we have some ambiances, pretty basic. I don't know what this is actually. It's not even playing, so let's put it like that. Oh, actually it's not even playing. Great. We have this ambience, I guess. Then we have some clap fills, like this, like this. Right, just at the end. Then we have the bass, which follows the chord progression G, D, and we also have like this, I think. Yeah, we also have this note here. Right, we have this drone, obviously playing throughout the whole track, and this drone is just like a sus chord. It's like a D sus chord, D sus2 chord, right? Instead of having a F sharp, we have an E, so it's a D sus2 chord, right? And this drone actually plays throughout the whole track. And what I really liked, what I did with this stuff is actually add like an amp on the pad, which kind of gives it that metallic, more kind of that metallic Ben Bohmer shiny stuff, right? Like if you listen to it without amp, now let's add the amp. And we add the auto filter to cut up some of the shininess. Right, so that's a really nice trick, super simple. And that's basically it. The pads, oh yeah, the pads, there's this pad which is playing that kind of melody, right? Right, and just repeat. So yeah, I think that's it for the sounds. Yeah, we have a ton of drums, right? But I don't think we have to go like through the drums and stuff. If you want, yeah, maybe, but I don't want this video to be too long. We also have this glide lead, which is basically kind of like, it repeats 2 times. But then when the vocal sings, when you're alone, we're actually going up for this note right here, right? So basically we're repeating except for this note, right? But all these other parts are kind of like this, are kind of like the same, right? It's made in wavesevel. I used glide a little bit. So let's listen to it. Yeah, but I think that's mostly it. We have some reverse rides and effects, but yeah. Again, hopefully you can hear me what I'm saying. I'll put the volume up, and yeah, the camera is like, you know, what I had before because I forgot my other camera at home. But anyways, hope you're doing great. Let me know in the comments what you've been up to, and talk soon, guys. Bye bye.